gosh, I'm so sorry. I didn't even see you there. What was I doing? Well, I was reading Jane Eyre in a windy cemetery, contemplating the role of dark fiction on the English literary tradition, of course. What do you like to do on a Saturday? Okay, sorry. I got ahead of myself. My name is Indiana Plant, and I'm actually hoping to be Utah's next English Sterling Scholar. By the looks of it, it seems like you're kind of an English buff too, is that right? It is colder than Frankenstein's monster's unbeating heart out here, so why don't we go somewhere more comfortable? Whew, oh my gosh. Whew, it is so much warmer in here. Okay. To introduce myself a little bit better, I'm a lifelong reader and English fan. Ever since I learned how to read at the age of 3, I have been obsessed with fiction. Of all the children's chapter books on the market when I first started to read, my favorites were R.L. Stine's Goosebumps series, pulpy novels about the spooky situations that a kid could dream up. It was in the campy conflicts of the Goosebumps novels that I fell in love with my English niche. Dark fiction. Dark fiction, particularly horror, often gets side-eyed by English academics. A relatively new genre, horror didn't really find success until the late 1960s, when a fascination with the New Age occult swept over the Western world, sparking a fascination with demonic possession, including William Peter Blatty's iconic novel, The Exorcist. Before the 60s, dark fiction was propelled by gothic romances and a female audience, a readership that was often unheard and even diminished in high society literary circles. Speaking of female readership, that is another reason that dark fiction is a particular interest of mine. For hundreds of years, women have been the beating heart of dark fiction. From Charlotte Bronte's aforementioned Jane Eyre to Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, female authors have been pivotal in crafting eerie tales. Even in the 1970s, female writers like V.C. Andrews and Anne Rice used horror fiction as a medium to express themes of anger, lust, and independence. To this day, themes of female rage and equality can still be found in modern horror, especially ones written by women. Look no further than Ottessa Moshfegh's Lapvona, widely considered to be one of the most bizarre and grotesque novels of the 21st century. Now, that's not to say that dark fiction hasn't been a boys' club at times. Bram Stoker, Edgar Allan Poe, H.P. Lovecraft, these are all classical authors who are just as near and dear to yours truly. In fact, my favorite horror author of all time is not only a man, but a king. That's right, Stephen King. Although partially responsible for dark fiction's bad rap the past few decades, critics notoriously accuse Stephen King of being trashy. He's also hugely responsible for the success of the genre. Despite the ongoing joke of his book's worth, his novels tackle painful themes in sometimes brutally intimate ways. Take, for example, The Shining, where he tells a story of the haunting power of addiction, very literally. R.L. Stine once said, "Most fears are basic. The fear of the dark, the fear of going down into the basement, the fear of weird sounds, the fear that somebody is waiting for you in your closet. Those kind of things stay with you no matter what age you are." In dark fiction, we find universal fears and truths. At the root of the monsters, whether it's Dracula, Frankenstein, Jack Torrance, or Demon from Hell, we strangely find humanity. At the end of the day, it's uncovering truths about the human condition that makes English so necessary and so beautiful. This fundamental mission statement is what has driven me to produce my own dark fiction, including a self-published supernatural mystery. You can learn some more about that in my portfolio. I have also included this whole book in its entirety in my written samples, as well as a work-in-progress horror novel for young adults that I'm writing, the first chapter of which is also included in my writing samples. Hopefully, with some practice and, of course, hard work, I can someday join the league of female writers that I love and admire so much within this genre. So, there you have it. A little bit more about me and perhaps my morbid tendencies. But you also found out a little bit more about an English niche that matters a lot to me. Although dark fiction may not be for everybody, English is for everybody. I love English. I love language. I love storytelling. It's that love that has gotten me this far, and that love that I hope to take with me in the Sterling competition, and of course, the rest of my life. Thank you, and remember, the next time that you're in a cemetery, hey, might be time to read a good book.